try to debug this. This program is mostly working until I put in this deracer part here. This part here was working. Basically, when I went to the main, I had to put the inputs in exactly the right order. So first I put in a file name for the output file, and then I put in a file name for the front part, title, second, the bottom back part of the front part, the actual Obsidian file, or the text file that will be the markdown file that's going to be concatenated with the front and back, and then the file name for the back, and then a finalize message. And I had to do them in this particular order. And that was working. And then I tried to add this deracer component that said I can put any of these inputs in any order, and this thing will sort them and make sure that they come out in the right order for these parts. We could build in the ordering in the parts themselves, but in general it makes sense to just leave the parts be as simple as possible. At one point I forgot to register the deracer part, and that wasn't running all the way through and silently failing. And so then I stuck in some reminders saying, here's the parts that you've registered, here's the parts that get instantiated from the registry, and then here's the run from here down, the actual run. And in this case, what happens that I'm seeing is a problem is that the deracer is producing an error. That error gets routed upwards and then ignored somehow. And the error message was error sequencing error A. So first thing to do is to look at the deracer itself and see where that sequencing error A is here. It basically says that we came in to idle and then we switched on the port. There's the problem. That should be taken to, it's a datum port. Is port let's find what a message looks like. There we go. Port is a string, and then the datum is a dt.datum, which is more involved. Basically, it's a block of bytes with a bunch of other procs associated with it that help you clone it, reclaim the cloned part, and produce a string representation of the part, basically. So snapping back to where we're switching on the incoming message. It's expecting either in first or in second, and if it doesn't get either of those, it produces this error message. So the first thing I'm going to do here is log.debug. We're in the deracer. We'll put out its state. Transmute states of a.state, and then we'll output the message itself and then see what that does. We'll go back to the run, we'll clear the screen, spell it correctly, and then we'll run May. And we got a syntax error on line 31. And go to line 31. It's that line that I just added, log.debug. I don't see what's wrong. Transmute states, a.state, comma, message. What else could be wrong here? Do I have log in there? So that's not the problem. And the error message said that expected a closing parenthesis at position 43. So we can count off the positions. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3. Transumpty. Typo. Okay, try that again. There we go, it did something. And here's where the error message was produced. And the port was first, which makes some sense. The datum was a pointer to this address location. It was 24 long. And then the clone was a procedure. Reclaim is a procedure. Representation is a procedure. And reflection is a string message. And what I really want to do here is output the deracer idle message. Port is first. So it should have gone into first and not produced an error, but it produced an error. Is that the right one? So it came in here, it said, oh, in first. And that says first. In first. So let's take off the in business. Second. I was trying to keep them separated from these field names. There's more down here. I think that got all of them. Let's try that again. Clear. What am I looking at here? I don't see the error anymore. Deposit disk output. And then it says that the port is output file and the string sent in to that port was that name. And then it said it ignored it, that the message was ignored. And then in here I've stuck in an assertion that said if we didn't do anything with any of the messages, we tried to dispatch all the messages, then I don't see the problem yet. So we said output file goes into here, that goes into deracer7 first. That should have been dispatched to the output file output port. Is there something wrong with it? Yes, the output ports are named wrong. That should be called output file. That should be called front one. That should be called title. That should be called front two. This should be called obsidian file. It's like I'm missing something here. Back, close. Oh, close. No, that's back. Back, and that's close. That's arrow. I think that's what I called it. Is that right? Close error is what I call it. Okay, so now I think I've named the things correctly. We'll save it and we'll try again. Clear, make. Now we got all the way to the bottom, and then it says that the output had one output on stderr, the file write error. So it looks like it got to here. It got the buffer to here, and then it got a file write error. Or could be that the code for that is just wrong. File write error. Writer. File write error is here. It came in here, said data. Oh, let's write entire file to somewhere. And then that produced an OK. Oh, is OK a Boolean? I think it is. It says if the Boolean is true, then do nothing. Else send this error message out the error port. And that happened for some reason. Is it true that we came in input? Here's the file write. File writer. Data. Yeah, it does a lot of stuff. We don't really care for it. So we want to see that log should have come out. Are we looking for debugs? Yes, we are. Debug. Where's the file writer? Got a data, and then it output file write error. So let's just do something silly here. Log.debug file write entire file returns. Okay. Puts all pairs. Do we see that? Right. Returns false for some reason. It's up here. Now, see what's wrong here. Maybe I haven't converted the datum properly into string. So there's the call to OS write entire file. That's the output file name, supposedly. And that's the datum converted to a string, transmuted to a U8, or a slice of bytes. Maybe we just put a debug here and see what's going on. I could use a debugger too. And then we'll grab this and we'll try again. I don't see the debug. Did I not save it? No, I didn't save it. We'll try that again. And we've got a syntax error. At 22.101, not enough parentheses. Maybe that's it there. Try again. I see a bunch of bytes here. I don't see the file name. What could be wrong here? D.output file name, datum to string. I don't see it still, so we'll try this. Log.debug, its file name. We'll do dt.datum, and then here, I want to take this and turn it into a variable so that I can use it. So that's colon equals that, and then we'll get rid of this and S, and try again. Again, I don't see file writer gets file name. I don't file writer data, file writer, entire file returns false. So something, either my debugs aren't working or there's something wrong with the way the data is coming back here. If I should see this, just do the whole message at this point and call that 1 and call that. There we go. And try again. I don't understand why I'm not seeing the error message. Log.debug file writer. Almost looks like we didn't get a file name. Or we got one way earlier. Maybe I'll do it this way. Make. So I'm searching for file writer. Found it. Found it. Something strange here. Okay, so now I'm healing this. We'll call this old deracer. We'll make a copy of it. And then we'll make it deracer. And then I'll get rid of all the parts and just shoot these things across directly. Get rid of that, take that thing and put it up here. We don't need any of these errors. Leave the port there and it just doesn't get fed anything. So it doesn't care. So these should be straight throughs. And that's now deracer7. So this should just go straight through across. Yeah, input 7 goes to close. Input 7 goes to close. That seems right. Okay, so we'll save it and we'll try again. Whoa, more stuff. Something strange is going on. File writer data. I don't see these because the file name never comes in. So we'll just d.output. We'll just add that and double check that I'm interpreting correctly what's going on. Yep, there it is. It's 0 length. But something is horribly wrong with the name. The name, output file name, comes in here, ouch, comes in here, and should go out to, what's this? That also goes to 2 places. So when it goes to file writer, grabs the file, should grab the file name and save it. When it goes to buffer, it should just act as a trigger that says start now. Let's just double check. So buffer, handler, open, So here we don't look at the message at all, and we just simply assign an empty dynamic byte array to d.buffer. And then every time we get an append, we append the buffer. And then when we get a close, we create a datum and we send it out. And that data contains the buffer, the length of the buffer, function call to represent the data in the buffer or in the datum as a string, and then some reflection stuff there. So just by sticking this part in, it doesn't work any longer. Whereas I claim all this stuff used to work without that part. I guess we could test that. We'll make a hold on that one. Go back to the original. We'll wipe this part out. There are no errors from that one. And close. Delete that. And this one, what's going on here? Oh my. I gotta enlarge it so that I can grab it properly. Ain't doing it correctly. You want to go from here to there. We would like to avoid all these other parts, but at the moment I don't care enough. In fact, we can make it a different color, a horrible color like that. There we go. So we can see it. I'm going to take all these and make them a horrible color too. We haven't made that one horrible, and we haven't made these horrible. Why? There we go. So back. Nope. It ain't working. Something's goofy here. There. So now I claim it works. Clear. Make. File name is still 0. Still here. And for some reason this appended file is very much longer than what it was the last time I remember seeing it. Oh, file writer gets file name here. It's file name 2, but it doesn't look right. There's the message on port file name. The pointer is 0, length is 0. Whoa, that's screwy. Oh, something's wrong with the way it's being called here. Go back to main pages. Is it to do with the fact that it's going down? Oh, I claimed it worked without the buffer in the way. So maybe the buffer is not working. They tested the buffer. I'm going to make do here. What I really want to do, so I've got a copy of main. We're going to get rid of, we won't get rid of them. What we really want to see is if buffer's working. So we can get rid of file writer, get rid of that. I'm leaving the parts on here just so that they get delivered. And so my error check. The error check says if there's no parts that the thing gets delivered to, then it's a problem. Okay, so output file says open the buffer. Title will be append, and close will be close, and all the other stuff, output file, title, and close. Well, let's go back to here. Output file, title, and close. So we get rid of these other ones. So we should have only 3 messages sent. Should be something. Doesn't matter what, because that's really the open call. Then we're going to send, is that right? Already forgotten. Output file, yeah, starts the open. And then we send in a string on the title. So the string is going to be this, and I'll put a marker on it just to know what's going on. And then it'll say close. I'm looking. And then when it finishes, it's going to try to print the outputs of main container. And main container should have received 3 messages. Is all this saved? No, let's save that. And then we clear and make. Comes in on front 1. What's going on here? Why is this seems to have more than one port or something strange? It's as if the port is being front one goes there. Should on output file. That's weird. There's way too much information here. I could try to step children. If I do that, yeah, we reduce the amount of information on the screen. We could have done it by playing with the log file, but I didn't do that. I wanted something quick at the moment. So here's where we start. So these are the components. These are the instantiations, file readers, and buffer. Yeah. I also don't want to see discards. So what am I looking at? Container, handler, routing. So we route main from main to output file. Then we get a deposit to output file. And then main buffer gets open. That makes sense. Buffer open, yes. Container handling routing, continue. That. We send in a title, and that we call main buffer append. Then we get a buffer close, and he outputs main buffer on output, and then it goes from buffer to output, and then we deposit on output, and we deposit this.